featured guest, DeFi Dad.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Hello. One of the first things, obviously, is we're calling you DeFi Dad. You prefer to use that instead of your real name. So why don't you help us understand what that's about?
And Lou, sorry, I'm just gonna make sure you all can hear me now. I just unmuted myself. All good?
Yeah, I can hear him fine. Annalise, you can hear him?
You guys can hear me? Everybody good? Great. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody can hear. There you go.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, Lou, sorry. Can you ask me that one more time?
I was asking, DeFi Dad. Whoop, hold on a minute. If you can get off stage, thanks. No, I was asking, as DeFi Dad, obviously, you prefer to use that instead of your.
How do you hold the camera?
If you could help us understand what that's about and how you've been doing that.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's just my pseudo anonymous Twitter username. About a year ago, I started heavily using DeFi apps, and I got really excited because I was working with them through the Ethereal Summit. I was talking with a lot of these founders about what they would want to speak about, and my background was working in SaaS companies, so I would normally be demonstrating software all throughout the day. And it just, kind of hit me what the hell am I doing? Not actually using these applications regularly. And then after I started to use a few of them, I quickly became addicted. And that's what sort of led me to think about, well, where does my skill set lie in this space? And I think it's about framing the idea of how you can use different DeFi applications. And so anyways, I guess DeFi Dad too it's a good name that's stuck because a few years ago, I actually got into crypto because I had a new baby. And every night before I would put him to sleep, I would read all about crypto. And I kind of fell down the crypto rabbit hole with Bitcoin and Ethereum, just reading about crypto every night. So yeah, it's been only about 3 years. So I'm rather new to the space still compared to a lot of people. But it's kind of where my name, I guess, starts or originates from.
And how did you end up at Consensus?
Good point. So in late 2017, I had been reading a lot about crypto. I think I had bought a little bit of Bitcoin at that point, and I went to an Ethereal Summit, and I left work. I really enjoyed it. I learned, there we go. I'm back now. Okay, so what I was saying, Lou, is that in late 2017, here we go. The host has called you on, made you louder. There we go. Just making sure. You all can hear me still?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Yes.
Well, so the way I got started at Consensus was in late 2017. I had been reading still about crypto a lot. I had started to buy a little bit of Bitcoin, and I went to an Ethereal Summit. So I got to see all sorts of interesting talks. When I left there, I kind of had that epiphany that we've all had and said, I got to find a way to be in this space, or I got to turn this into a full-time job. And so I ended up, I would say I stalked Consensus for the next 6 months until they gave me a job. I just emailed everyone there I could get a hold of, and really got myself onto the marketing side of things. I felt like my background would help me to frame up how you can ultimately use all of the different tokens and applications that were being built with Ethereum and Bitcoin.
So what are the different roles that you've had over the last couple of years?
Yeah, so I'm mostly focused on being a marketing mercenary, I think is the best way to describe it. So I would hop from team to team working on any sort of marketing related issues. Normally it started with trying to create a story around what is it that what is the value that you are trying to offer to the world? What's the problem you're trying to solve? Who are the people that you should be targeting? And then what are the different channels that you might be able to reach those people? The interesting thing though was I only did that for about a year, and then I got kind of lucky. I always had a soft spot in my heart for Ethereal because I felt like it really confirmed getting me into this space or got me to commit to wanting to work in crypto. And one of the people was leaving the team. So I started building the lineup for Ethereal New York. And yeah, just ever since then, I've worked full time on the Ethereal Summit, and now we are much like Aaron is here from CoinDesk. Very similar to Consensus. Everybody knows Consensus. It's an
Hey,
awesome
Aaron.
event. Normally, yeah, there you go, Aaron. Normally, Consensus is like the big event, of course, of New York Blockchain Week. Ethereal normally kicks off New York Blockchain Week, and so yeah, that's I work on that full time and think about the fact that we have this Ethereal virtual summit happening May 7th and 8th. So if any of you have ever wanted to attend a blockchain, Ethereum, or crypto conference, I would highly encourage go register for free online at etherealsummit.com. And we're going to have about 150 speakers on May 7th and 8th that you can enjoy, while chilling at home.
Wow. So, how many Ethereal summits have you worked on?
So this will be my third. This was supposed to be my third that would happen in person, but because of the fact that we are all quarantined, we've got this really cool opportunity to host a virtual summit, which I think is really important, Lou, because we get to have folks from all over the world. I think there's a privilege to going to crypto conferences. They tend to be a little bit higher price. And I think it's really good if we all want to open. Hi. Hello.
Hey, if you could hop off
there we
stage,
go.
thanks. Yeah.
You got a great name, Boss Lady. That's a great name. Yeah, I think it's a really great opportunity. I think that everyone is dealing with the effects of being at home, but I think this is like one of the cool ways we can all connect, sort of zoom out and appreciate all of the progress in our space and, kind of get inspired for like why we all want to work in this space.
And so, so I know the last one I think was in Tel Aviv.
Correct. Yeah. Last one we did was in Tel Aviv. It normally, if any of you haven't ever been to an Ethereal, I mean, it's multiple stages with normally a few days of talks from 9 to 6. The thing that's really special about Ethereal, which I think is really hard about this virtual summit, is we've always put on very high production events. So it's a very pretty, artistic looking sort of area, lots of purples, of course, lots of rainbow colors in general. So it's a place you go and it feels like you're walking through an art museum. The problem is now we're all doing a virtual summit. And so we've been really thinking about how can we translate that sort of experience to something like this. And I think we've settled on the fact that, one, we're going to focus on the content. It's all about learning from our peers, getting inspired by other people who are doing great work in our space. I think the second thing though is trying to get people to engage. So this is a part of it. I think the plan that Lou and I have talked about is having you interview some folks in alt space, because I personally would rather be meeting people potentially in VR, rather than just watching a live stream the entire time. So.
Yeah, this is, I think for the people certainly who have headsets, or you can come if you've got a PC. It's a little more of a struggle with them.
Yeah.
But hopefully there'll be a great meeting area for people to hang, in between speakers, or if there's somebody speaking that maybe they're less interested in. So what are you most excited about in terms of the speakers you've gotten? What people will be talking about?
Yeah, I think of our lineup a lot like a music festival. There are those big names like there we go. We're real close there.
Well.
There you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, no problem. I'd be doing the same thing.
Thanks, guys. Try to stay off the stage.
So some of the speakers I'm excited for. There's some of the more obvious names that we want to have there. Like, of course, everyone wants to hear from Vitalik. I mean, he's always exciting to have speak. I think it's some of the bands that are lesser known that are really talented. You think people should know about. So I think of teams in Ethereum or DeFi like Open, OPYN. They offer on-chain options for Ether. They also offer an insurance. So if let's say you're lending your stable coins on Compound, and you are earning some interest, you might be worried, what happens if Open fails somehow? What happens if the smart contract have a bug in it? Open is able to cover you, kind of like insurance. So anyway, there's folks like Open. We have some really cool talks from, there is the head of the Deep Trust Alliance, Catherine Harrison. So she focuses a lot on the future of deepfakes and how that's going to affect society. So that's a little more like sci-fi, futuristic related, less about, an Ethereum related team. And then I'd say some of the just major highlights are Robert Leshner from Compound is going to do a fireside chat. We've got the guys from Into the Ether. If you listen to the podcast Into the Ether, Eric Connor and Anthony Sassano will speak. I also too, Ryan Sean Adams, I've never seen him speak on stage, but he runs a podcast called Bankless. He's really amazing at framing up ideas about DeFi, about Ethereum, about crypto in general, and kind of tying it to the parallel legacy finance system that we all are used to working with. So anyways, those are some of the people I'm really excited to see. Did someone have a hand up there?
So we'll be taking questions from the audience. Fine taking them while we're talking as well. If anybody's got any questions, just raise your hand. Oh, there you go.
Can anyone hear me?
Yep. Yeah. Did you have a question?
Yep. So let's see. Saint Mestor.
On Mondays.
Do you want to ask a question?
Did you have a question? How about
going once?
Boss Lady? Do you have a question?
Nope.
Nope. Oh no. Okay. All good. Never mind, Lou. We can keep going.
So excited about the conference. Excited to do some cool things with VR. I think that will be a lot of fun. Let's talk about DeFi. For a bit. Obviously, something that you're really into. What are your thoughts in terms of where we are? I think just from an onboarding standpoint and UX. Just to get people to start is so hard. What are you excited about in that area?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm really focused on is trying to flip the narrative that we need to be waiting for a better UX, or that we need to wait for Ethereum to scale, or that we're waiting for something nebulous no one is quite sure what we're waiting for. And I would say this too about Bitcoin applications, anything I've used with Bitcoin. When it comes to DeFi, my argument is that many people have actually not tried the applications. And often, if you talk to those people, they'll say, well, it's hard to use these applications. Maybe you've used MetaMask before, which is very powerful, but a few years ago had a less ideal user experience. So my argument has been that it's all there. The problem is we're not evangelizing it and we're not dog fooding enough. And so one of the things that I've really been trying to urge people to do is try a number of these DeFi applications that are simpler. So I'll give an example. When I talk to my parents who both got an iPhone just a few years ago, I don't talk to them about being a market maker on Uniswap. They have no idea what the hell I'm talking about if I say that. My goal is to ask them questions about, Mom and Dad, what is it that, how do you think about your money, and what sort of legacy finance instruments do you use? So for me, it's really simple. My parents really like savings accounts. They're not super sophisticated with it. So when they say, I like a savings account, I think about, well, you could lend your stable coins in DeFi. And so I quickly try to sort of connect the dots for them to what they know and try to show them that these are very similar concepts, except for one major difference, which is hopefully it's censorship resistant. There's a spectrum there, we all know. We have a long way to go there. You have to truly decentralize these tools. But I think the other part of it is that at the end of the day, these applications need to save you time, they need to save you money, and they need to open up more access to finance. So an example of that, again, is if you are lending your stable coins, let's say through Compound, when you do that, you earn interest. But why is it that I can earn a higher interest rate than I can with the bank. Well, it's because my DeFi app is run by code and the bank is run by a bank. There's overhead, there's utilities, there's lots of employees that have to be paid. And so I guess ultimately, end of day, what I'm trying to say is I really try to push on the idea that most people haven't tried these. And I would say most of the time when I talk to someone who, let's say, is holding Ether, or at least doesn't, you have to be open to the Ethereum ecosystem. I can often find very quickly that, hey, they've never tried an application. And if you haven't tried it, I mean, how can you say that the user experience isn't there yet? I don't know. Does that help at all, Lou?
What do you think in terms of, you mentioned savings? Do you have any favorite places where you would tell your parents to go?
Yeah, I think the easiest onboarding right now there's two wallets. One wallet is Argent. It's very like dummy proof and easy to set up. It basically gives you these very elementary steps and makes sure that your wallet is backed up. There's also Dharma. So both of these allow you to deposit fiat and then start earning interest through DAI. And so I'd say I start there. I think about those two wallets. They allow you to do one very simple thing. You convert your dollars, the fiat dollars, into digital dollars. I don't talk about DAI with my parents if I show it to them. I say, these are digital dollars. Now, if my parents were going to put their lifetime savings into it, I would warn them and talk about all the risks suddenly, but especially when we're testing this out at first with folks. Beyond using a wallet, I think a lot about...
In terms of the risk, what interest rate do you think you can get, from those, you were just talking about wallets to start, but, they're offering savings as well.
Yeah.
What interest rates?
And
you think it compensates you for?
So before, yes, it did. Right now, no. The rates are absolutely awful. What happened? I think most of you are probably aware of this, but the way that I try to connect the dots of what's happened over the last few weeks is we had Black Thursday. Maker had huge issues with liquidations. DAI became under collateralized, and then Maker voted to lower the rate, the stability fee for Ether, so that ultimately there would be a lower supply of DAI out there. So anyways, what's happened is, think of it in terms of the world that we know in legacy finance. If you lower all of these rates, suddenly it's not very appetizing to lend your money. And so right now on Compound, you can lend DAI for 0.5%. This is something that I expect to be resolved in the coming weeks, or at least a month or so. Once Maker raises the rate to something like, let's say, 4% for the stability fee, which is, if I take out a loan, that's the rate that I'm paying, 4%. 4%, that leaves me at least 4% of spread to pay someone as a lender. So suddenly we're going to see DeFi rates get a lot more competitive again. And then when the stability fee goes higher, now we have even more room. So if it goes up to 8%, now you have more room to pay lenders, and then all of the other competing lending platforms will follow that. So anyway, that's my hypothesis on that. I would welcome. I'm sure someone might debate me on that, but that's how I think about it.
And how do you think? Onboarding is one piece of it, but it's also, we have to build stuff that people want in order to go mass market. But what are your thoughts on how we get from where we are today to kind of mass adoption of DeFi?
Yeah, obviously it's a very hard problem to solve, and I don't have all the answers to this. I think my very simple solution is we need to be using these applications, and we need to help everyone to learn to evangelize them. And you can take lessons from Bitcoin, I count myself as a part of the Bitcoin community as well. Why has Bitcoin become a household brand? Because those who have held Bitcoin never give up any ground. They do a tremendous job of, defending their beliefs and, for better or for worse at times, arguing on behalf of, their value prop. So I think that Ethereum really needs to learn as a community. I think we need to be a little more bullish on like what it is that we offer to the world. I think we need to be better evangelists. To top it off, I think we need to show. My goal is not to talk normally to people about here's why DeFi is important, and let me talk to you about a bunch of ivory tower mental gymnastics about it. My goal is to show you. My goal is to hear, how do you think of money? How have you managed your finances? What is your life experience? Let me connect the dots to what exists in DeFi that might appeal to you, and let me actually show you how that can save you time and money.
That makes sense. And how do you think about, the evolution of Ethereum impacting that? Do you think, is ETH2, is that coming? Will that have a big impact? Do we need to wait for that?
Yeah, there's no doubt Ethereum 2 delivering this year, or at least, picking up with phase 0. That's great for us. We're headed towards faster transactions in the long term, which I think is the simplest way of thinking about what will people benefit from. If I use a DeFi app, I want to get to a point where I'm not doing all these different MetaMask transactions and thinking about the gas price and doing all these things that really kill the user experience. However, my argument, again, goes back to, I think we need to be better about evangelizing what it is that we use, and we need to show folks. Today, if this was the end of the road, I think that there's enough there. I have definitely sold shittier softwares in my previous lifetime of careers than what DeFi is. DeFi is incredibly easy to use depending on what you're using. There are other parts of it that are a little more complicated, and again, that's where my focus is. I'd also mention you should check out Chris Black. I think he does incredible videos on how you can use DeFi, and he's very upfront about all of the risks. I think we don't want to repeat the ICO era and have people not understanding risks. I think with DeFi it works. We're not promising the moon to anyone, but at the end of the day, you have to be very honest and upfront and say, these are all of the risks that I can think of. These are things you should be conscious of. And you should do it.
Alex, he just raised $20,000 in a personal token offering. And for that, he's gave up 15% of his earnings for the next 3 years. And so, I thought that was super interesting. It's certainly a win for Alex. He's going to use the money, to move from Paris to San Francisco. And do you have thoughts on personal tokens? I think that's super interesting, and obviously the uses can be infinite.
Yeah, and definitely not an expert on personal tokens, but I think what he did is really cool. And I'm obviously not thinking about the risks that he took in doing that. I'm not thinking about the fact that whatever government maybe you didn't go to college. The ability to raise money and have others bet on you, that's radical. I thought that's what Bitcoin and Ethereum were trying to deliver on in the first place, was this sort of like capital efficiency, being able to move capital very easily and freely across the world. And I don't know how he guarantees that he pays you that 15%. And so I recognize, as I look at that, I say that's really cool. But if someone says to me, should I invest in that? I'm like, well, first, you should never listen to me in terms of investment advice. Second, you should be cautious. There's something there that could go wrong. But I have known Alex for a little while, maybe 6 months, And if there's anyone who can pull that off, he is a very committed and hardworking person. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's also he's very personable. He's very out there on social media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously that really helped. So there's some uniqueness to it, and I think at this point there aren't smart contracts that are guaranteeing his income. So right now in the early stages, I think we're more just kind of taking his word about it.
Exactly.
One of the other projects I'll touch on, and then again we'll open it up for if there are any more questions from the audience. But another project that's really emerged over the last few weeks, it seems interesting, is PyDAO.
Oh yeah, PyDAO. Yeah, that's been. Okay. So PyDAO for me is another example of legacy finance being potentially eaten by DeFi, smart contracts, Ethereum in the future. So PyDAO, the idea is, I think the best equivalent is like an ETF. You are able to ultimately, so they have one Pi currently available. And the idea is that it has Bitcoin in it, it has some Ether in it, and a few other like digital assets. So you're able to gain exposure to multiple digital assets. And you're able to do that because this DAI, PyDAO, is though is, think about it this way. First off, it's hard to create a Pi or an ETF that performs well. You need to model something that works in real life, or you need to let it play out and tweak it over time. If you can have Pis, though, that are performing well, or think of it as like a stock that is performing well, you can start to stack those Pis inside of other Pis. So you're able to take really powerful new synthetic DeFi assets, and you're able to stack them within one another and create even more powerful DeFi assets. So yeah, I think PyDAO is one where I look at it and I say, I'm not quite sure how this is going to perform, and I would definitely love to see it perform for maybe 6 months. But most of the time, what I do is I buy just a little bit of exposure because
So that's great. Is open up one more time, see if anybody in the audience has any questions. Raise your hand. You've got a question. Going once.
Anybody?
Going twice.
Oh, over here. Fred?
So I
There you go.
actually could give the audience a participation option if you guys are ready to go ahead and answer questions.
Yeah. So I think over here, Fred,
You do that?
you have a question?
Fred, you
You
got a
want to move
question?
closer to the stage?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right, now your hand, I can see who you are.
Yeah, you sound great. There you go.
Are you in
Hey,
mute?
there you go, Fred. Over there in the
Yeah.
corner.
I'm trying to figure out what's the distinction between just holding traditional.
Can you talk a little louder, Fred?
PyDAO.
It's a little hard to hear you. Maybe move a little closer. Whoop.
Okay.
Fred,
Yep.
you have a megaphone. You should be
Oh,
able
there we go. Yeah, that's
there
good.
you go. Okay.
Now you sound great. Go ahead. Nice to meet you, Fred. Oh, he might be muted.
Trying to figure out what the difference is. Yeah.
This is exactly what when I first looked at it, I thought, well, what's the difference? Like, why the hell would I even want it? One of the most obvious differences is the exposure of Bitcoin and Ether. So, like, we all know it's for us. Like, we all know how to buy some Bitcoin. It's easy for us. But to be able to stack those synthetic assets, I think it's very unique to find out. Another thing goes back to some of the core benefits of using DeFi. I can be in any geo and I can gain access to PyDAO as long as I've got the internet. I've got the ability to skip any sort of KYC, and then there's no minimum. That probably the no minimum is the thing that, as someone who I can't say like I never worked on a trading desk, I don't have some long career working in legacy finance, but I think we're all very familiar with the fact that there's a lot in the legacy finance system that requires a minimum amount of money. You can put in as little as one die. Does that help, Fred?
Yeah, still confused with the stacking the pies themselves, but looking forward to digging more into it.
Going
Yeah,
once?
yeah,
Okay, he
Oh,
seems to be
just-
good. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I think Annalise. Did you want to finish up with anything? That was a nice talk. I'm going to write a blog post. For you.
Welcome to the Blockchain Universe, where we hold our Crypto Mondays. And
What the hell?
oh, wait a second, guys, can you stay muted, please? Wait a second. There we go. Okay. What is that?
Oh, you're gonna want to move. You're gonna want to remove Jack B.
Hold on.
You'll pay for stacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah. There we go.
use a headset.
Okay. All good. I think we got rid of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think so. All right. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. Anyways, so welcome to the Bits and Tokens world. This is where we hold the Crypto Mondays. I believe this is just the presentation area for small meetups. I think that we also have a bigger world. Is this the bigger world? Okay, this is the bigger world. Just kidding. So you're actually in the bigger world. If you guys haven't, there's 4 different rooms, and in the 4 different rooms, there could be 4.
Why don't you take us a tour?
Simultaneous events. Yeah. So okay. So we're here. If everyone just wants to follow me,
Did you
feel
want to see
free.
the space? Here you go. You can follow. Annalise.
Follow later.
Yo, where's everybody going?
Man, what the hell?
Hello.
What up, y'all? Where we going?
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Man, who's got the damn laptop?
Yeah. Point might be to you. So let's go in the tour.
Set up booths. We wait until more people get flushed in here. All right, so in this room, like I said, you can hold virtual events in this space. As you can see, there's different tables. So if companies want to come in here and let's say hold a virtual conference, they're able to. And it's just a virtual option other than just webcam. Because as you can see here, joining in VR is really fun. It's really cool. It's enjoyable, and you can have the option to interact with people, not only just watch a webinar. And there could be, like I said, different events going on simultaneously, because whoever can hear you can't necessarily hear you in the other humans. There's going to be a Tuesday podcast in here. Jerome's just telling me he just stepped in, but there's going to be a Tuesday podcast that we hold in here as well. And I think also the game night also takes place here. So there's another room where I'll show you where that takes place.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my mic.
Oh, I'm running into a wall. Oh my god. Okay, there we go.
Nigger.
And we're turning here.
Hey.
Whoa. Okay, guys, you guys are gonna get kicked out.
I think it's you can remove Nick Moore. And...
Why? I didn't do nothing.
Yep.
All right, you guys suck dick. Nigga.
good job. You got them. Well, you got one of them at least.
All right. Sorry about that,
Hey,
guys.
Jeff.
Gotta watch for the trolls sometimes. They can show up. So in this room, we host game nights as well as, again, to another room that's in the world where you can do things simultaneously. Just players room. This is probably my favorite room out of all of them.
He's
Hello?
Hello?
Jerome? Jerome?
Huh?
Sean? How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Okay. Where are you? Sound like you're from the UK?
I am from the UK.
Are you in London?
Near London, not quite in.
Hey,
Ah.
how are you guys?
Have you ever been in there's a good Crypto Mondays in London. They're actually gonna have a virtual event next week.
Oh, really?
Yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
I'm not quite sure what this is about. I just kind of stumbled in here.
This is
Ah, this is about crypto. Are you into crypto? You know, Bitcoin.
Oh, welcome. Thanks for
Oh
joining
no,
us.
sorry.
Where are you
I didn't
doing?
realise it was that.
Yeah, it's a meetup group called Crypto Mondays. We're based in New York City, but we have chapters all over the world. And now, obviously, we're not meeting in person, so we're meeting virtually.
Every time I would log in, it would just crash out right exactly when I log in. But then so I had to make a new account and I had to create a whole new email address and everything else just to sign up again. But
Oh, that really sucks. How did? Okay, so you got locked out of your email and it crashed, and you had to make a new account. No, that's strange. I've never heard of that. I've never had that issue.
Did he
Oh,
just
I think his
disappear?
internet. Yeah, I think he just disappeared. I think his internet kicked out. I don't know.
Who was
Maybe user
who
error.
was that?
User-
DeFi Dad? DeFi Dad is gone.
no. Oh, this guy. He disappeared.
I'm back to my yeah.
It could be your internet kicking out if you dropped.
How are we doing? Is the globe still around? Annalise, it shows where people are.
No, the developers haven't fixed it yet. They're still trying to debug it, so until they debug that, it's not going to be around.
So sorry, I was gone for like a minute. I just crashed out right after I asked my question.
Yep. Hello.
They did? Okay, Lou, so apparently the globe just got
Bye.
fixed recently, so Jerome said he'll add it back.
All right. Cool. So, so Crypto Monday Miami is going to be starting in a few minutes. Jack.
Yeah, right? Crypto Monday Miami, Jerome? Cool. Yes, we're getting set up. All right, guys, if you want to the second of adventures, come back to the main stage.
Yeah. How you doing? So where are you?
I am at the shopping center, actually.
Ah, okay, cool. So you guys are having your meetup shortly?
There's a number of events.
Here, yeah. Well, I think Nick and Eric are going to come on at 7:30 on stage. So
Which is like
Very
that'll
cool.
be fun.
Yep.
for us.
Nick will be here.
And then
Yes,
uh,
Nick Spanos will be in the house.
Here or
And then-
via something else?
Perfect. Hello.
Hello.
All right, everybody, put your hands in the
Hello,
air.
hello, hey everyone. Thanks for being here. Let me jump on stage here.
Hello.
Sorry, we have to do.
Every time I hear my blood on upon the slave ships, how they bring to life three souls. We are free, only to be chained in poverty. That I call that murder. The rain filled my veins. Did you say anything?
Did I say anything? I haven't said anything. No.
Oh, okay. I was just standing over here.
And I'm just waiting for my cue.
Hello. The next meetup's going to start soon. Hey, Mike. Mike.
Constantine.
Yes. That's my in-game name. What up?
See.
Who's Constantine?
It's me, Alejandro.
Is Eric
I'm on mute. Here we go.
No, you're working now.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you
Check
black?
that.
The black bot?
I'll talk to you in.
Hey, Jerome.
All right. Are you the black bot, Scott?
Hey, Jerome.
Come on. You gotta get used to this.
We've been friends for 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks. What,
I need to
you've
know
been
what
on Allspace? This is the new, cool new thing.
No.
Look, I can go like this.
Oh my god.
Getting on the call.
Okay. I just clicked on the Zoom call too, so. But I got freaked out and I deleted Zoom from my computer because I was like, oh, if they're malware, I'm really not trying to have that.
It's on your TV?
Yeah.
That's a scary. Wait, no.
Oh, there we go. Hey, guys. I need.
Alejandro.
Oh, I see Eric.
What's up?
Hey.
Hello. Yes, I do. Do I hear a replay? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I leave the VR world so I don't have an echo?
No, you don't have an echo.
Probably. Okay.
Wait, guys, wait. You guys are on the live stream. I'm not sure how, but wait a second, Erica. Hold on.
recall Andy setting up. Erica, you're gonna get on stage.
Do you know how to get on stage, Scott?
I don't know how to get on stage. I was asking. I don't actually.
You point to it with your little. There's a ball that and then it directs you on top of it.
Computer. It's a different for each.
Can I go?
And then it should get you into like a little. You should be able to move around your mouse and your buttons.
Why can't you just put these up here?
Oh, there we go. This is not what I look like in real life, guys. I am not purple.
I'm so good. Is it okay to be purple in real life?
Oh no, I just said thank you. Everything got
no
me
problem.
right.
Yeah, so really well.
And I look forward to hopefully we can work with DeFi Dad on the Ethereal Virtual Summit, virtual reality space.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool. I was talking to I don't know if you know the Bad Crypto podcast guys. They're having a summit too later on in April. So I've been talking to them to do some virtual stuff. So hopefully we can do more virtual stuff. Get more companies in
that'd
here.
be great. Yeah. They're doing like a 3-day thing. Right? It's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's
great.
supposed
Well,
to
good
be a
seeing
week.
you. Oh wow, it's coming up fast.
Come here.
So thanks for hosting, and if not before we'll see you.
Oh, you're out of here?
Yeah, I'll hang around for a little bit. I'm gonna put my headphone down and make sure I like to eat, but I'll be back.
All right. Well, we'll talk. Take care, Luke.
Okay.
See you, Lou. See you, Scott. See you.
Mike, you hanging around?
Alright, do you guys want to get started?
Yeah, is this there?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Alright, perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Hi for everybody that's left here in the room for Crypto Mondays. Hopefully some of you guys are in Miami. Hopefully your quarantine goes safely. So, you can't see your Nick live streaming?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, so let's just get this started. Thanks.
Oh, I was on
Amos,
mute. Yeah,
and-
we can't see you.
You can't see us. Is there a way to stream Zoom onto Altspace or no, Jerome?
He's working on that. But also, guys, I'm going to go have everyone mute themselves. That would be great. If not, I'll be muting you all manually. Just please be respectful of everyone's time on stage. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, just go ahead and mute yourself if you haven't already. If not, I'm going to do it anyways. If you don't follow, just anyways. If you don't follow, enjoy. If you don't follow, you don't.
Can you guys hear Nick right now?
Oh.
Yes?
Nope.
No.
Just static.
No? Okay. Dang it, Nick, we can't hear you. So, I was curious for you guys here in the room, who is here, on headset? On a headset?
Everyone that can raise their hand from the away.
Everyone that can raise their hand. How about, are you guys trying to figure out who's on Annalise and how to get Nick to be
Question?
Okay. So yeah, in the meantime, we can't hear him, so I'm gonna ask you guys some questions. Let's see. So you guys have, most of you are here on PC or Linux?
PC here.
I'm going to take that as a yes.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna fix it right now. I see that Nick is on the screen. The audio is not coming through. I know how to fix it. Just give me a moment.
Cool. In the meantime, let's talk about how many of you guys enjoy staying at home in quarantine. Raise your hand if you are on PC. If you click on the little smiley face, it'll give you the ability to like just put your hand up. No, looks like some of you guys are not enjoying quarantine. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be. It's okay to be quarantined, but I just don't like being forced and told what to do. Anyone else want to share their ideas on that?
I want human connection.
Come up on the stage. It's gonna. I think it's gonna work. Well, let's just wait on Jeremiah because I'm pretty confident.
Are there stairs in there?
You right click on the stage.
What are your thoughts, Constantine?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make the best of it. I really don't like to start again, but I'm trying to use all our residual assets to, I guess, my advantage. So online business, CBD, with the trading, which I've heard the day-to-day actually. And everything else, but I'm tired of living with enemies, like, on this property, you know, I don't want to be, like, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, for sure. It's not okay. The First Amendment is the right to peaceably assemble. Right now, we are not able to peaceably assemble. I mean, the fact that they're shutting churches down, I get it that they're trying to, control the virus or whatever they're saying it is, but it doesn't matter. You can't go against our Constitution because some people feel unsafe. The people that feel unsafe, I believe that those people should be able to stay home. They should be allowed to stay at home and do whatever they want at home and self-quarantine, but everybody else shouldn't have to be forced to. I mean, the fact is that, 15 million people are now in unemployment. 15 million people are now dependent on the government. That's what they want, It's like, if you can't have socialism by voting it in, now we can just force people to have socialism by telling everybody that they should be scared of this invisible, disease.
Well, outside of those things I've spent time working on, I'm also on the unemployment list, and Florida, of course, has done a very interesting job, to say the least, in that process. So, I'm basically, I hate to say it, but I am relying on the government, and I am waiting for that stimulus check, so.
If you get that stimulus check, though, the $1,200 that you get in the stimulus check, they take it out of taxes later on. Yeah. So you might have to owe the government even more money, yay.
That's the secret.
But then they can print as much as they want, so does it even matter?
Oh yeah. I'm just saying since the magic printer, and that's why I'm just like, okay, part of the check whenever it comes in is that I'm gonna I more on that point for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And one, I guess here's another poll. What would you?
Oh, cut out.
Come on up. Come right click on the stage. What would you do, Brooke? Hello, Brooke.
Okay. Oh, okay. She's reacting. Can you hear us?
She's emojiing. Okay, so in the meantime, while we're waiting, I will read you guys some interesting news stories that are going on right now, just in case you are not aware. So, let's see. Okay, so Visa just teamed up with Fold for Bitcoin rewards on a new card. Basically, the mainstream adoption of Bitcoin it's now partnering up with credit giant Visa, which joins the startup Fold to offer a card that earns rewards denominated in the cryptocurrency instead of airline miles or cash. As much as 10% of cash purchases made with Crow-branded debit cards.
I hear Erica. Does anyone else hear Erica?
I did not. Nope.
No, you guys can.
Now you're back.
Now I can hear her.
Okay. I think maybe because they changed it. Oh, could you guys hear me like reading the news or whatever?
Only the first story.
Jerome, can you put my face on the screen? Just so people feel like something's going on. Thank you.
What robot Erica?
Okay, hi, guys. I'm Erica. If you've never met me in person before, probably if you're still here, you have.
You don't see.
You don't see me on the screen? Look
Not in VR.
Oh. I see you fine on the screen. You don't see her, Scott?
In VR. I'm in VR. I have the headset on. I don't see her, but if you're seeing her on PC, that's pretty good.
PC.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so
cool.
See if the live stream that we're doing on Twitter sees you. But keep talking, Erica.
Okay, got it. So.
I see.
So, anyways, that's the first story. Is that Fold and Visa are teamed up. If you guys know what Fold is basically kind of like a Lolly. They're like a reward system where they give you cash back, but now they're attached to Visa. Which let's see how that unfolds. Oh, how about OneCoin? I'm sure a lot of you guys know about OneCoin here. I remember hearing, I felt so bad because I remember hearing, so many old people tell me about OneCoin. I would tell them, I wouldn't really get into that. Obviously, it's not decentralized. Some of them listened to me. Some of them, it was, too late. And now I'm, in these group chats, and, they'll always ask me, what's happening with OneCoin, Erica? And I'm like, well, her brother went to jail. So let's see. The news says that the cryptocurrency investment scheme accused by the U.S. of being a Ponzi scam may escape from a class action lawsuit due to procedural mishaps by the lead plaintiffs. This is how the law system.
Yeah, sound again.
You hear me?
Because I
Can
don't
you hear
watch
me?
that stuff. But do you guys know what the show name is? It's
Me
like
neither.
for Final Fantasy or something. No, it was like okay, I couldn't tell. Like the Hunger Games. It was like the Hunger Games bell is what they used the
I'm
bell
just
to
listening to
alarm people
Erica.
to go back to their house. So just a lot of interesting stuff is happening. Anyways, raises $31 million to battle coronavirus. A former Uber Technologies executive has raised $31 million for his Indonesian logistics startup with an unusual pitch that will help organizations battle the coronavirus in the country. Jakarta-based Cargo Technologies pulled in the equity and debt funding from Silicon Valley-based Naya Capital, Sequoia India, and Intuitive Ventures. A seed funding round a year ago includes Sequoia India and Travis Kalanick, the former whatever. Give me $31 million and I'll fix coronavirus.
Travis, you know that guy?
Yeah.
He's an eccentric dude.
He's Travis. He's like got. Didn't he do the?
I didn't hear that. I think glitch. Hello. Yeah. Alejandro, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, Scott. I was muted. I can hear you. Couldn't hear Erica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just self-muting, so I don't like muting to the microphone.
Billie Jean, Billie Jean. You for sure. You hear me?
I can't hear Erica at all.
Me neither. Couple of Mondays was
I don't have pants to do that, God. If not, I would do the same.
I'll do it for you.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Show off.
Wow.
You do like the fucking like.
People are dancing here. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so we are going to move into participation. All right, we are going to allow hands raised. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the ability to raise your hand now. Really wasn't prepared for this because I thought we were interviewing Nick, but don't worry. I have some questions. So the happening is coming up in about 30 days. Do you buy or do you sell right now? All right, raise your hand if you would buy right now. Nice. I like that response. Natty girl, you're my girl. You buy right now? Yeah, right now is a good time to buy. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, but everything is so
So
right now that it can just go up, right?
I don't see it going down. I mean, especially, I feel like the initial, so everybody says like Bitcoin went down, right? Bitcoin did go down, but so did gold, so did silver, so did precious metals that are proven stores of value, right? And the thing is that people want to move into liquid assets because they want to be able to buy up stuff. Now, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, because they want to be able to buy things up. And then when you think about the Bitcoin market cap, the Bitcoin market cap is so low right now. The Federal Reserve every single day is printing, I think, $125 billion a day because they're buying back treasuries and mortgage-backed securities to the tune of $125 billion a day. And the Bitcoin market cap is like, what, $124 billion a day? They're literally printing every single day the entire Bitcoin market cap. So, I mean, the market cap is just so low that little moves, they make huge differences. So, I definitely would be buying right now. I think it is important, though, especially for those people that are traders, to just be trading the dips. Like, I think that one of the things that I want to learn while I'm here, and Alejandro, I'm really glad that you're like helping us too, is I really want to learn how to trade more, because I used to trade, but that was back in like 2017 when it was super easy to trade because everything was just going up, so it was like whatever. But yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. Okay, go ahead. Because
Saying everything was pumping, so it was easy to pick winners. Like, it seemed like every single coin was pumping, so it was just like, hey, let's just point a finger and bloop, that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool. Okay, I think I have the ability now to to amplify you guys if you want to say something. So I mean, if you guys know Crypto Mondays, like I really like to make it a group discussion because I'm not the smartest person in the room. So if you guys have things to contribute, please do so. So tomorrow we do have our Trading Tuesdays classes, but if you guys have other like trading resources you'd like to share, please let us know.
Before we do that, I want you to put something in time. I believe people can't see Eric on the big screen, right? Let me see some hands who don't see Eric on the big screen.
At first I didn't, and then I left the room and came back in and I see her.
Okay, that's what I was.
You guys are missing out if you don't see me. I did my makeup.
So I'm gotta have to set the room and then we'll start that back up. All right.
That stream seems to be working
One for a
fine.
ride, guys. We'll be right back.
seems to be a lot smoother.
It's about a nice bottle of Clorox at the side.
Let me know if you hear that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a crazy ride.
The Clorox and the sanitizer, right?
Alright. Listen.
It's here on purpose.
Is my voice amplified?
Yeah, stream is actually smoother now too, so.
Yes, you're amplified and it's a little bit smoother now.
Okay, cool. So I do want to do something where everybody can participate. It's not just me, obviously. Yes.
Oh my god.
Obviously, there's a lot of knowledge in here. So the first question is halvening. Do you buy now or sell now? Now, here's the thing. For people who have been around for multiple halvenings, in 30 days after the price pumps, do you sell or do you hold? Okay, raise your hand if you would sell. All right, Mr. Matthew, please let us know. I'm going to amplify you so you can say why you would sell.
Well, I'm a total noob. I just bought my first bitcoins like 3 days ago. So
You bought a
I
full
would sell
Bitcoin?
'cause- yeah, I bought my first bitcoins 3 days ago, and I would sell after 30 days when it will go up because I'm a little afraid of losing it if I don't do so. You know, I'm a beginner, so I better not take too much chances.
Friend Constantine, you should raise your hand so people can find you, but you guys should add him as a friend. He should be able to give you some good tips, but I mean, I know like the theme is like hodl, but I think it's also important to like make sure that you're making money. So nothing's wrong with selling, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm not going to sell all of it, obviously. Can you raise your hand, Constantine? If you click on the right thing, I can amplify your voice. So.
No, I think Matt was trying to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I just chose to use Coinbase, and I'm not sure if it's a good platform to start with. There's also Uphold that I heard about.
There's a lot of different platforms.
Exactly, correct. I mean, if you want to jump in tomorrow to the Zoom call, and like Matt, if you want to add me, I'm going to be holding a call with Matthew Mano and myself, like Erica just mentioned. We can talk about like the different exchanges that already exist and cover some of those things tomorrow. But there's so many, like Erica just said, there's so many resources out there. I personally use Coinbase because I feel like it's the biggest one here. And it's American based, unlike let's say Binance in China. But anyway, we can talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Tomorrow.
Yeah. Where are you from? Because just hearing that you bought it also up at Uphold, I know that Uphold's big in countries outside the U.S. They're actually based in San Fran, but not a lot of U.S. users.
I'm from Quebec in Canada.
Yeah, Uphold's been around for a long time, but I don't know. I haven't really seen use of it, but I hear a lot of people in Latin America can have access to it because they kind of have fiat currency pairs backed by Bitcoin, and it's real easy to access down there without, just full access to virtual banking. So they use Uphold to get in and out of their currency, but I haven't heard from them in the U.S. in a while. But the first thing we do when we buy Bitcoin, put it on a hardware wallet. So I disagree with Erica. Don't trade it. Just hold it and forget about it, and learn. Unless you want to learn how to trade, make sure you're going to make money when you do it. Which I think the first couple of years you're probably going to be screwed. So if you want to become a trader, it takes years of practice, and then only 10% of the traders are kind of schooling the rest of the market. And then you're not even dealing with like high frequency traders that are just using algorithms. So maybe you want to learn how to code too. But
yeah. I mean, if it's, they always say like, don't invest money that you're not willing to lose. Like if you're afraid you're gonna lose that money, it's gonna be detrimental for you, then yeah, like sell it. But if you have the ability to just leave it there and hold it, I think, and this is not financial advice, but I think that you would be really happy with your investment, especially right now.
This
I
is
mean,
not financial advice. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
that could be going on the screen, but none of this is.
Yeah.
For educational purposes, not for financial advice.
and it's like you have to remember that just Bitcoin is a form of money that's outside of the control of governments, of individual governments. So if the government that you hold your fiat in you think is in danger, then it is a good, I mean, it's a good hedge to anything else. Plus, I mean, they're printing a lot of money. So, okay, so that question, everybody would probably be selling after the halvening. Now, is anybody here online? Because I'm wondering, I know that
electricity is too expensive.
in Quebec.
Bad.
No, it's very not expensive in Quebec because we produce our own electricity with hydropower. But
Yeah, I know there's a lot of Bitcoin mining in Quebec. Definitely there's like legislation passed up there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some Bitcoin
I got a lot of
too
friends
that's
who
been lobbying. Hey,
So
do you
your
know
friends-
Bolt Bitcoin? You can look up Bolt Bitcoin. Like BULL, like the animal. They're out of Quebec and they're led by a lot of people that are OG crypto, and they have a lot of meetups.
I don't know them personally.
Have you heard
Look
of them?
them up on Twitter.
Yes, I heard of them. Yeah, they're near Montreal, right?
Yeah. I think they are. And then we were actually talking to some Toronto Bitcoiners about, talking about setting up a blockchain center up there. So, 28 countries in the world.
Real?
I think so. Just like
Yeah, there was somebody that was at the center during the hackathon, and this individual is like the brother of Justin Trudeau, or Justin Castro, whatever you think his real dad is.
You talked about a hackathon. What hackathon are you talking about?
We had a hackathon at the Bitcoin Center. If you go through this wall, you can see the Bitcoin Center. You should be able to see it. Okay, so after the halving, there's no miners in here. Does anybody have? I don't want to say like price predictions because obviously we don't really have fundamentals, and the price goes up or not, the fundamentals are still there. I really shouldn't roll my eyes because it lags and it looks super weird. But having price predictions, you guys think it's gonna go up or down?
But with the buyer guarantee law, I really thought that we would be above 10K right now. I feel like that history will repeat itself. We're going to go back under it's after the happening, but after that, I thought by next year we would hit 100K. At this point, I would be fine if we were to go to 70K. I mean, I know it's still asking for a lot, but it just everything's so reduced right now. So that's my prediction. By like 2021, we hit 70K.
Yeah, I mean, it's also too like, people in gold just closed down, right? The demand, I mean, just supply and demand, but we'll see. I mean, everybody says that the price goes up after the halvening, and the charts that I've seen, it looks like that it does.
Well, why would half of them shut down? I mean, half of it would be unprofitable if the price didn't go up at all, right? I mean,
No. Let's say that in the gold mining world, like let's say half the gold mining places shut down and then like halving, then the supply would decrease, but the demand bigger, so the price would go up.
True. Good analogy. Gold mining's weird, because like in gold mining you can like people, if it's see the price of gold going up, they'll have more gold miners going out. If they see it going down, they'll decrease it. But in Bitcoin, you don't have that. Like, you don't have the opportunity to, at this point, we're going to be mining for more Bitcoin. It's already set in schedule. So it's even a little bit different than these gold supplies, but it's super unique. But yeah, you're right. At the same rate, like if it's on May 11th, it's half the supply of new Bitcoins are not going to be there every 7 minutes. So the only way that they're going to be profitable is if that doesn't happen, that a lot of miners will, be unprofitable. But
yeah, exactly. It's like, what is that? What is that number they call it when it's below the cost of? Go ahead, Scott.
Below the cost of, I don't know, the cost of electricity, I guess, is unprofitable.
Yeah, like the mining price goes below your cost to mine it.
But yeah, well, there's a word for it.
But yeah, there's a specific word for it. Yeah. So, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say from my trading experience, actually, it's funny you mentioned about the gold mining world because a few of the traders I trade with, we deal with two symbols. One called JNUG, which is ETF gold miners, and another one which kind of hedges against them called JDST. That's not important, but I guess what I say was when the virus hit last month, JNUG, the ETF, is still down by like 30-40%, and now we're just playing the ups and downs with it. So it's funny how in the gold world they're being hit hard too, because everyone decides to liquidate into cash because they need it, just like we were saying earlier, Erica. Cash has been, unfortunately.
Yeah, my sister my sister works at a bank, and a couple things have been happening lately with the banks. First thing is that fractional reserve lending beforehand. They're not going to have your cash. When Greece fell, I remember it like 2008, I think. When Greece fell, I remember watching the news, and the news said that they were limiting cash withdrawals to $30 a day at the bank. Now, we're, in the United States, we're not immune from that. The other thing is that the FDIC chairwoman came out and she put out this whole message about how the FDIC has never lost a dollar since its inception. Not to worry about it. The safest place for your money is at the bank and not under your mattress. For them to come out and say that, it's like, dude, take your money out of the bank right now. Right now, yeah. And then my sister, she works at a bank, and she's telling me of like they increase limits because people have been coming into the bank and just like emptying out their accounts and cash, small bills, all that stuff. Like people will come in and her till will be just completely empty because that's what's happening now. So, just be careful, be safe. I'm not going to say that cash has more value because obviously there's a lot of signs that it's decreasing the value.
Oh, yeah.
But it's better. Yeah, it's better than a piece of plastic, right? That people are even throwing these scenarios at me because I'm going to have a debate on like gold versus Bitcoin, and throwing these scenarios like, well, what if the internet goes down? Well, if the internet goes down, we're fucked in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
But I have, I feel like Bitcoin would be like the least of our worries. But if the internet goes down and the servers go down for the banks, like that's almost the same problem as Bitcoin, except for in Bitcoin, you still have you're not dependent on the internet completely, and you're way less dependent because I think to send a Bitcoin transaction, it's like 2 megabits of information you need or data. So I'm definitely going to be learning on how to send Bitcoin via radio transmission. Somebody had sent me an article on that, so that's something just like weird proper stuff that would be good to learn.
Yeah, if you want to send it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that's possible. Wow, that's cool.
I'll send you the article.
Well, there's satellites of between 4 nodes that are fiber optic. But even if the internet goes down, I mean, sure, while that's happening, you can't send Bitcoin, but you can always still access your Bitcoin if you have a private key. You can always have that map on hand. You don't need the internet to access that. You can have a safe mind that always accessible to you. Yeah, you just even an off.
So yeah, can we talk about that too? Let's talk about Blockstream. What the hell is that? Like, people are like, oh, Blockstream changed Bitcoin. Now it's like evil, and they have like I saw one of their conferences being streamed, or it was like a recording of it, and their background was like "Don't be evil" or "We're not evil" was like the big light that was behind them, and it's the same thing that Facebook had up. So I was like, what the hell?
No, Erica. Google. Wait, you want to use the battery? Google, their catchphrase when they first started was "Don't be evil." That was their whole thing, and everyone believed them. Obviously, we don't believe Google is not evil now. But Blockstream does this blockchain and Bitcoin, and it says can't be evil because with the blockchain, you can't rig it. It's not possible to corrupt that data. So they kind of like made a play off of that Google early 2000s slogan into "Can't be evil." I mean, I think Blockstream is probably the best company out there with the smartest developers. I remember when they were formed, backed by a lot of great names, and Adam Back is the CEO who kind of created mining before Bitcoin came out. So there's a lot of people out there that said like Blockstream are lizard people, but that's what we call Bitcoin cashers.
Okay, so that's why. Got it. They're just saying that Blockstream's evil, but I also hear them saying that they centralize Bitcoin.
Well, just look for yourself. I mean, you can go to the Bitcoin repo at any time and download it and check the source code. I mean, there's a lot of contributors to Bitcoin's code, and maybe over like a couple hundred. Some of those people work for Blockstream. Some of those people work for some other companies. A lot of them don't work for anyone. They're just open source people contributing to it, not getting paid, which is actually a big issue because we're having these people that are working on it every day, not getting paid. Like, of course, they own some Bitcoin, so maybe they're incentivized, but there's now some companies like Jack Dorsey at Square, who is sponsoring just Bitcoin developers, paying and just allowing them to work on research projects, which is, I think, super awesome. And I think Microsoft is doing that as well, supporting some Bitcoin core developers. So that's important. Because these are being paid. It's a Bitcoin company to pay you.
Yes, that's another really interesting thing. Is I'm always curious because everybody has different, ideas on the topic, but I do trust your judgment more than most. But that's interesting that Microsoft is now paying people to become Bitcoin developers because Microsoft has an identity project on Bitcoin. Microsoft is also run by Bill Gates, and Bill Gates is now coming out saying that he wants to make these like digital ID cards. Blockspace is actually, with Sam Arms, is actually doing a podcast about it on Thursday, so I'm going to try to listen in on it. But Microsoft is doing an identity project on Bitcoin. I don't really like the idea of having digital identity because it's just not a good idea.
Erica, this is another thing I want to talk about. So I agree with you. Like on surface, Microsoft running that sounds horrible, but I've been following the Microsoft ID project for a few years. There's actually like a sick like ANCAP that runs the whole project. Like on Twitter, he's all about Bitcoin, awesome shit, like anarcho-capitalism. And he's the lead dev at Microsoft, which I thought was super interesting because fuck Bill Gates, like fuck big tech, but just knowing this guy's leading the project and listening to him on podcasts, that's pretty encouraging. And that's the only reason. Okay. Just because, which is cool because I get to, follow him on Twitter and see that he's an actual, doing a good moral guy instead of just reading. Microsoft is coming with the ID project, which obviously on first glance to me too would be like, fuck that. But there's more getting that info out there. I mean, or we should, do our own research. Ask them again, maybe that guy's still there and wants to talk about it because I'd be super interested.
Yeah, let's get him on a podcast. Send me his Twitter.
I will.
Cool. Okay, well, let's see. One more question is, before I think we should end this because I don't think Nick's going to be able to get on. But are you guys seeing any of your friends get kicked off of YouTube?
I have not in what sense? Like anything different from like people just getting randomly kicked because of censorship or
Censorship stuff, not random though. It's really not random. A lot of YouTube people have been, I'm sorry, a lot of crypto people have been getting kicked off. I remember that one day where they banned like every single crypto channel in one day. Yeah, and then there was that big uproar, and then Facebook or YouTube was like, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to do that. And then they added them all back on. And now they're just getting kicked off one by one by one by one. So, for example, Blockchain Education Network, Ben, which is a 501c3, is now kicked off YouTube.
and they didn't give a reason for that. They just said, oh, like, what was the rationale? Like,
I mean, it's like see the guidelines. Yeah. And then the other person, obviously, like anybody that says something about coronavirus they don't like, they kick off. But the Dollar Vigilante, which is like, I've been listening, which is Jeff Barwick, I've been listening to for a while. They are taking his videos off. David Icke, really? Never listened to David Icke. Yeah. His videos are like getting off. So it's like this weird. And I remember when coronavirus happened, YouTube sent me an email saying, we are removing people's videos, and because we can't come in person, we're now having the bot algorithm do it. If your video gets removed, sorry. Basically, that's what they said.
Fuck them.
I know. So
that's why we gotta decentralize YouTube. So I mean, have you gone on like DTube or any of these other platforms?
DTube is a good one. BitChute. The big one is LBRY right now. Decentralized platforms, but it's almost like all these groups of people are people who have similar ideas than us. So it's like all of these people already know about Bitcoin, you know? So what do you do when you want to reach people that don't know?
Right, right.
So, yeah, but no, I mean, there are alternative platforms, but just that YouTube is the biggest.
Yeah, that's fixing out looking too, like not really knowing what we can do and not do on YouTube, and just growing our audience on there and knowing that at any moment it could be ripped away. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I met the head, Jeremy Kaufman of LBRY. He's very nice. So maybe we should start doing that. But like the monetization structures are different. If you guys have Float versus Instagram, Float's a good place to go. Obviously, it's just how do we get the word out about these decentralized platforms so that way they can be adopted? Or do we even want them to be adopted? You know, do we even want people that are normal and don't think the same way as us to be on these? So
yeah,
just kind of a half.
That's the whole point. That's ironic.
Just kind of half-assed
people.
It's kind of pretty that the VR event on Saturday when we were in VR chat. We had a discussion about, you know, Bitcoin and the usual stuff, you know, like we're pretty much what we're doing right now. But one of the guys was saying, oh, it'd be great to see how we can get to a mass.bitcoin. You're saying a question that we talked about for like now, better part of a decade. And someone just said, maybe you should have got a meme out of it, like put it on TikTok and meme like this application, and make a joke out of it, and then people maybe like get people viral, and then kind of be like, oh, what's this Bitcoin about? So I don't know, half-baked idea, maybe to kind of meme it. People get.
That's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is one big meme. I mean, we've been memeing it since 2009. You can go throughout history to see like the different catchphrases, but I mean, yeah, who's gonna take it to TikTok and make it viral? Hopefully us, but
hopefully me.
At the same time, man, you can do it. But when Bitcoin goes
I don't know, like, well, how do you do that? Go ahead, Scott, sorry.
I'm just saying, when Bitcoin was at 20,000, Peter had his fucking like hands up, was like, got that motherfucking Bitcoin, and I mean that was mainstream. So when this price starts rising, people will jump all over it. The mainstream make like memes like, you know, you versus that other girl who used to, you know, is calling with the dollar bill and then the Bitcoin on the side, you know. Right. So it's price. Sadly, people pay attention when the price starts going up. And it's a crazy cycle. If anyone was there for 2017, it's crazy. So, I mean, we've seen cycles like that happen all the time in cryptocurrencies. This would be the the fifth one, if it were to happen. My bad, I thought Daniel was talking. But yeah, I mean, people get crazy. So
Yeah.
we gotta be there when the people come and build a foundation to have them, like in here or on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about the Bitcoin Center, go through that wall. You'll see like a quick picture of the middle of the Bitcoin Center. It's really not that interactive, but we do have a VR world. Follow us online at Bitcoin Twitter at Bitcoin Center Miami. Everything's spelled proper. Actually, sorry, on Twitter it's BTC Cent Miami. On Instagram it is Bitcoin Center Miami. And we're going to be posting events. Tomorrow we are doing a Trading Tuesday. So Constantine here is going to be teaching people how to trade. Specifically, it's going to be at the Bitcoin price. Constantine makes his, basically what he does now is he just trades penny stocks. He sent me some numbers today, so I know you did well today, so good job.
Nice.
If you guys want to follow me personally, Bank of Erica, Bank of ERYKA. I've been tweeting a lot lately about like just government stuff and, you know, the coronavirus. So if you enjoy that, join in. And yeah, I mean, we are doing events almost every day this week. If you guys have a startup, if you're a startup company that is looking to pitch, later on this month, we do have a pitch event. If you want to get in contact, you can just message myself or Scott about this, and we'll tell you about, send you links to the pitch event, or you can go to blockchaincenter.com. If you guys are looking for tools and resources, I think the big thing that we need to be doing right now is evangelizing this to people, especially those people who don't want to be screwed, so our loved ones. We do not want them to be screwed when the dollar crashes. So we need to be telling them about Bitcoin. At the Blockchain Center, we have a lot of resources, different wallets, different programs that they can use to where they can get benefits. For example, Crypto.com, we're doing giveaways with them. I think they gave away like $20,000 last week. If you sign up with us, then you can be entered into this giveaway. So yeah, blockchaincenter.com.
The handle somewhere here on the wall, like where people can click the link.
Yeah, right. Because I totally know what's going on in here.
Yeah, I can answer. I think we have the pictures up over here around the corner. We should get a link in here, but no, we don't have that. But I think the pictures are up around the corner in the other rooms. But
Perfect, there you go.
blockchaincenter.com. I just got that. That's sweet. So right now, the other, I don't think the pictures are up, but let's make it work. Okay. Maybe I'll show it to you guys next week.
Cool. So come to blockchaincenter.com. Thanks, you guys.
Bye, Erica.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Erica. Stay safe.
Always.
Alright. Go to let's go campfire.
Are you getting off?
No. I might. I think I am.
Huh?
Nice.
I think I'm gonna get off.
All right, you guys. Looks like I'm taking over Angus's body at the moment. My headset just restarted. Joining us shortly. If anybody's interested in staying put, they should be on in the next 30 minutes. Wanted to get this time for you guys to come to
Thanks, Annalise.
Who was talking?
That was Jerome.
And it feels kind of low. I can't hear.
All right. Actually, I'm gonna be back because I'm starving. I got some food. But you said there's a campfire. We're waiting for the LA team to be here in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I guess we'll be back here in 30 minutes. But like, I got time for that shit. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Then I think I might just not do the LA one. I don't know how many people are trying to stay put for another 30 more minutes.
I mean, I'll stay logged in.
I think we got a lot of good viewers on our live stream though. I mean, we have some people here, and then the Zoom call like scared some people away. But I mean, I see on our Twitter we got like Tim and Matt were holding it down. So I'll tell them to stop the live stream right now.